Money doesn't have a mind of its own, right? Money is only responding to your relationship with it. Money is responding to your energy towards it. Money is responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, right? All the things that you're saying, speaking, imagining, visualizing, the loop that's running through your head, that silent programming in your subconscious mind that's ruling the show around what's possible for you with money or not. Money is just is, right? It is consistent. It is reliable. And really, this is the kind of perspective that I come from in my own life. And I've had to do this work, right? It's been a series, an evolution and an evolvement of how I see money and how I see abundance in my own experience, right? And so really I have settled into this place, and this is what I want for you. And this is what we're going to talk about, how to get you there. What if money was consistent for you? What if you truly, truly believe that? What would be possible? What if money were reliable, dependable, stable, safe, an ally, like your best friend? What would be possible for you? You guys, these are incredible journaling experiences. And when you do this work and you dive deep into it, you will start to experience the shift. You will notice where the breaks are and where the blocks are in your thinking that are sabotaging your success. How would you feel now? How would you be now, right? And what would you know now if you believed that to be true? If you believed that money was reliable, consistent, stable, an ally here to support you to do your good work in the world, how would you be? How would you feel? What would you know right now? And what would that do for you? These are really, really important questions. So I've written them down and I want you to answer those as we go into this. So this is a vibration and the frequency that I want you to begin to work with as you start to create your desires, right? I want you to begin and create from this, because my role here is really about supporting you and, really breaking through and understanding that money is energy, and that we have everything around us is energy, and we all have a vibration. And so when we are out of alignment with money, when we're not a match for it, it's because we aren't actually in that energy of it, right? We are holding a belief that is keeping us separate. We're holding a belief that is somehow judgmental or critical about what money is, or we're just judging ourselves about what we deserve and what we think we are worth. Who's ever done that? Tell me in the comments, right? Like, where are you guilty of holding yourself separate from money? Where have you been guilty of not believing in your worth? Where have you been guilty of judging other people for money? Where have you been guilty of not believing in your own worth and making decisions about, how much you can receive, right? Whether or not you even had that conversation with somebody else, right? So I really want to help you make this area of your life into a place that feels easier, that feels more flowy, that feels more spacious, that feels more free, that feels more exciting, right? That feels elevated, right? Because when we shift our vibration, when we shift the beliefs, when we shift the mindset, when we shift the energy that we are holding around money, we can actually shift and change our experience of having money. I want you to imagine that you believe money is a renewable resource, that it's unlimited, that you can create more, right? And you can do that endlessly on repeat. So imagine if money were to, as we said in the quote at the beginning of this, actually expand to match your desires, right? And if you could get into that energy. Imagine that you decided, this is something that I would never teach or do, which is to limit your desires or squash your desires down in order to, feel more abundant. But sometimes we do make choices in our life about how we're spending our money, and we think that it's going to help us, somehow, create more money. So imagine that you decided that you wanted to save some money, and so you decided to downsize your house, right, and get a less expensive house. So there's kind of like a few different ways that that could happen for you. So you could go into that house and feel like, this is kind of a bummer. I wish I hadn't done this. This isn't really that great. And still not feel worthy of the extra money that you would be saving by having downsized into a lower cost house, right? And so as a result, you would just manifest bills or different expenses that would like eat up all of that extra away, right? Because it's still a belief, it's still an energy, it's still a mindset that you're holding towards money that's keeping money separate. Likewise, you could go into that same situation and feel totally empowered by that and feel like, oh my gosh, this has freed up so much space. I don't have any of this anxiety. And you could release all of the resistance that you have been holding on to around money. And so you could feel very financially empowered by that and allow yourself to keep all of that extra and go into a place of surplus and overflow. Same situation. Just a very different perspective and a different mindset and a different belief set to be holding. Likewise, you could choose not to downsize. You could decide, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to set my standards higher and I'm going to create more to match this desire. And you could actually upgrade yourself into a more expensive home. And then as a result, get super motivated and take aligned action and actually generate and allow yourself to receive that extra money to up level into that new experience, right? All three of those scenarios are totally possible. And what I want to tell you is that it's never about the place. The thing that is consistent throughout this is actually the mindset. It's the energy that you're holding with money. And that's what actually makes the difference in terms of your experience and what you allow yourself to receive. So I don't know if this is making sense, but what I want you to really get is that money doesn't have a mind of its own, right? Money is only responding to your relationship with it. Money is responding to your energy towards it. Money is responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, right? All the things that you're saying, speaking, imagining, visualizing, the loop that's running through your head, that silent programming in your subconscious mind that's ruling the show around what's possible for you with money or not, right? So it's been my experience, and this has been an evolution for me. When I first started out this work and decided that I needed to change my money mindset, I had a totally lack-based scarcity mindset. I had the ultimate of that, right? I believed that I was poor, and that was just what it was. Guys, this is 20 years ago. I've been doing this work for a long time. But when I decided to make that shift, I gradually came into a knowing that money is consistent. It's reliable. It is here with, it's a neutral resource. It is literally a tool that is here to support us to do our good work, right? And it's a tool that's here to support me to live my most abundant, beautiful life. And I truly believe that. And so money flows into my experience, abundance flows into my experience from all sorts of different ways. And I'm not gripping on to the ways that it comes to me. And this is really important because I see this a lot in my money mastery class. Will be women who set goals. And I've had two recently who've come forward who set goals in the last group. And, one set a goal to have a $10,000 month, and she really wanted it to come through a specific way. But what happened was that she manifested that $10,000 and it was in her bank account, but it did not come through the route that she thought it would. And so at first she felt really disappointed, I did it wrong. It didn't work. And what I told her was, no, what's really exciting about that is that you proved to yourself that you were a match for that, but you were gripping on so tightly over here that it couldn't flow through that, right? Because you had a lot of resistance for whatever reason, for money flowing through there. So it just came in through the path of least resistance, right? Because that's what's happening, because money is always trying to make its way to you. Money and abundance are sitting at the doorway, just waiting for you to open it up so it can pour in, right? And, when we think these thoughts, when we, think it has to be a certain way, right? What we end up doing is we end up blocking it, right? We end up putting it aside from us. We end up not allowing ourselves to fully receive it. So in allowing herself to shift that perspective to see that, oh my gosh, I'm a powerful creator, I can manifest this, and that money will always flow to me, and that it can flow from multiple different ways, right? Money doesn't always just flow through your business. Maybe you have properties that you manage and it flows through there. Maybe you have investments or retirement accounts, or you receive an inheritance or a surprise check or a check back from the insurance, right? Money can flow from all sorts of different ways. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to line up with this idea of money being an energy that is always flowing to us. And then our role is to just get into that spacious energy of being able to receive it, right? Really seeing it as a renewable resource, always there for us, always there to support us. One of the things that I teach women inside of my Money Mastery, and we're going to be talking a lot about this inside of the abundance experience, is for you to get really clear on what it is that you desire, right? Going back to the basic principles of that, right? Of manifesting, because then when we put our attention on that desire, right? What we do is we focus all of our power on that desire too, right? And it's not just about like money flowing a specific way, but it's really getting into the vibration of what does it feel like to have that desire, right? What does it feel like to be living in that reality, right? So I want to go there with you guys right now. I want you to have a chance to really feel into that. So, it doesn't mean that it will go exactly that way, right? As evidenced by the two stories that I just shared with you, right? Both of those women did this work inside of Money Mastery, and they got really clear, and they got into the feeling, and they got into the embodiment of already having it, and they created it, but it didn't necessarily come through the path that they thought it would. It came through that path of least resistance, but it came as evidence of what they are, of their creative potential. The deal here is that when we tap into that potential future and we match up to the energy and the feelings and the emotions of it, that's when we start to create that outcome, right? And that's what I'm talking about when you can become an instant match to that kind of money, because, both of these women were setting goals in the next 30 days, like, I want to create this. And some of these goals that have been created are huge goals. I have one woman who's in my Money Mastery class who we play a game where we write checks inside of the course, and she wrote a check for $2 million. A year later, she has manifested that $2 million, right? And it came from a source that she was totally unexpected, but she wrote me a note this week on my DM to tell me about this experience and this journey, because it was so overwhelmingly amazing for her, and she wanted to share that. What would it feel like if people loved to pay you? And this is a really good one, you guys. So I wrote this down specifically, and I'm going to look at my notes here because I wrote down a bunch of questions around it. So what would it feel like if people loved to pay you? And I want you to start to feel that, right? What would that mean for you? How would your life be functioning? How would your life be working, right? How would things be happening in your life, right? How would things be flowing in your life, right? The people who love to pay you, how would they be paying you, right? How often would they be paying you? What would that feel like when you receive their payments? What would you be thinking? How would you, when they pay you, right? What would you be thinking about when you see these payments come through, when you receive the check, when you get the money in the bank? Like, what does that feel like inside of your body? You guys, what would your internal expectation and experience be, right? And how would that change your expectation of what's possible for you if this were your reality? Because these are really, really powerful questions. And so if you need to come back and watch the replay and get these again, I highly suggest that you do that, because these are the kinds of questions that are going to take you into that feeling of already having it, that are going to create that embodiment, that are going to create the energy of shifting you into that energy where you match up to that energy of people love to pay you, right? And then you get to take that thing that you were choosing, right? You get to take that thing that you were desiring, and you get to have it. Like, it gets to be yours, right? You get to receive that, right? You get to allow that to be something that you imagined already happened for you, right? And as you do that work, as you do the visualizing work, as you feel the feelings and the emotions of that, that's when your energy starts to make those subtle shifts and starts to become in resonance, in harmony, and you begin to identify with that reality, and then you begin to embody that reality, become that reality. So this is super essential because this is how you become that match, right? This is how you start to change your perceptions of what's possible for you. You start to elevate the consistency and the stability and the support that money can provide to you. Feeling the feelings of that desire being true for you are exactly what's going to line you up to being a match for the energy of money, right? So holding that belief, right? If that belief is that if people love to pay you, what's that going to mean for you? How's that going to shift things? How's that going to feel in your experience? It's going to be super, super powerful for you to get into that alignment, that embodiment, really choosing that's the way it gets to be for you, that's the thing that gets to happen for you, right? That promotion can come through, that you get to have that raise, that, there's going to be more than enough money that's coming, right? There's going to be new clients. There's going to be, your course is going to fill up, your book is going to be best-selling. You're going to land that speaking event. You're going to have the high ticket clients, the customers are going to come through and they're going to buy, 50% more than they normally do. You're going to be having referrals like crazy, right? Like all of those things that you get to choose, that you get to receive, that it gets to be yours. Holding that vibration, standing in that place of certainty, that's how you begin to up-level your expectations. That's how you begin to shift your money, your perceptions of what is possible for you with money.